In this episode, Jim is going to break down the very first question he asks when he coaches people one on one. A lot of you in the personal development world have heard about goal setting, all of these metrics and thoughts. Jim is going to approach it from a very different framework that I believe you probably haven't thought about before. So stay tuned. If you're interested in this, let us know in the comments below. And I really think you're going to enjoy this episode. And it'll give you some reflection points you can think back on of how are you moving towards your goal. Stay tuned.
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I'm joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, something we're passionate about is really helping individuals learn how to move toward their goals, learn about themselves, learn about their reason why, and desire backed by faith. What is the one question you ask if I start doing one-on-one coaching with you? What is the mindset or the icebreaker that you're trying to get people to start thinking about that maybe they haven't thought about before?
Well, there is not one question.
Okay.
There is a process of questions. The first question I'm going to ask you is, what is your goal that you are going to achieve as a result of our one-on-one relationship and going through the program called Rethink You? Is a self-administered program. And where a guy like me comes into play is when you have a question or you get stopped, I can say, here's what you want to do. And then I go way beyond that. So I typically coach from certain books. The first question I'm going to ask you is, what is your goal? I need it to be very specific, very direct. And it doesn't have to be a business goal. It could be a health goal. What do you want to accomplish here? We got to get it down to one goal because I want to show you how to achieve this one goal. Then you now know how to achieve any goal. So a lot of people in this space will talk about goals. I don't want to talk about goals, and hear me out. I want to talk about goal achievement. Goals to me are meaningless. That's why I said it's a series of questions. So I don't want to talk about goals as far as that's what we're here to do. We're not here to set goals. We're here, you and me are here to achieve goals. There's a big difference here, ladies and gentlemen, a big difference. So when we set a goal, we're going to go through a process that if you do what I tell you to do, you're going to achieve your goal. Or you'll get pretty darn close. And as we talk about in Rethink You 2.0, we talk about close enough is good enough. So if your goal is 100 and you get to 90, you did pretty darn good. You didn't hit your goal. You know what? Where were you before? You did hit your goal. You did. It just showed up in a different manner. So the first question, what is your goal? I want to be very specific and very direct. Write it down. And that sounds like I'm being contradictory. I'm not. It's just that's the first thing.
You're not going to hang up forever.
No. Oh, God, no. The second thing, and this is where I'm going to really beat the living crap out of you, is I want to know your reason why. And I'm going to ask you until I get you emotional. And it happens every single time. I'll say, why is that important to you? And the person will say something. Okay. Why does that matter? And the person will say something. Why would you want to do that? And they'll say, and we keep going. And it usually takes about 7 to 10 times to where they get highly actually I go deep. And I actually was talking to a good guy yesterday, and I said, I've been doing this for a long time. You're holding back on me. I know you are. I can tell. You're holding back on me. Tell me about your grandfather.
Sure.
So he started to tell me about his grandfather, and he got very emotional. And I have a massive chill right now because I witnessed it.
Yeah.
Because I intuited it. I could sense that there was something there that he wasn't wanting to tell me. Yeah. So once we get the goal very clearly spelled out, it's got to be definite, specific, write it down. What's your reason why? Does it make you cry? It's got to get emotional. When I say cry, emotional, chills up and down your spine, sweaty palms, dry mouth, you're dripping from the armpits. Sounds graphic, but it's true. It's very emotional, right? The next step, so we have the goal, we have the reason why it makes us cry. The next step is to seek expert counsel. Find somebody who has done what you want to do successfully and have a conversation. Well, that conversation could be a book. It could be YouTube videos. It could be one-on-one coaching. It could be a think tank, which is bigger than the one-on-one. So I'll figure out how we're going to get from point A to point Z being the goal. I want you and I to develop a list of things based on expert counsel. If we do these things every single day, inch by inch, one day 1 foot, one day we go back an inch, whatever, we're going to keep going forward. And within the program called Rethink You 2.0, we talk about progress or progression versus perfection. That's where close enough is good enough comes from. Are we making progress with doing this? And with that progress, are we seeing results? So I know with this watch here, this is part of my list that I've got right now, 12,000 steps. I know that. And I know, based on my predetermined goal, this is part of my whole thing. Remember, Dr. Rosell said, walk a lot. Okay, Doc, I'm going to do that. The goal today, I think, is like 14.2, 14.3. So I've got some steps to get in, and I will, won't I?
100%.
There's no question. If I got to skip dinner, I'm going to do that to get to these steps because it's that important. And I'm not going to skip dinner, by the way. That's also important. Once we figure out the goal, once we figure out the reason why, once we get the list in play based on expert counsel, now we got some coaching to do. We're not going to coach on the goal. We're not going to coach on the reason why. We're just going to keep that in front of us. People say focus on the goal. No, that's not what we believe here. We believe that we need to focus on the list. You only focus on the list. You're supposed to do push-ups today. Did you do your push-ups? Yes or no? Check or not? Did you drink the prescribed amount of water that the list told you? Did you eat your fiber today? Did you meditate today? Did you get the proper amount of sleep today? We're talking health goals here now. Sleep, stroke recovery, sleep is a big part of it. I measure that every single day with this cat. And I know that last night I did great. I feel great. So that's a measurement per se. Get up in the morning, feel great. I like the technology of this stuff here. So I know that I had a really good sleep score last night. I know that. I know what my pulse ox is. I check it throughout the day. Pulse ox is the amount of oxygen in your blood. And this thing tells me that. So I know what it is. And I can't tell you now because I got to get my phone going and I'm not going to do that. But I'm measuring all the time. So it's all about the list. It's not about the goal. Put the goal in your mirror. Keep the reason why in your mind and just think about it from time to time. Does your reason why make you great? Just keep it in your mind. But that's not what I focus on. I focused on the list. Today I had physical therapy. Remember, stroke 2 years ago, possibly having my leg amputated, possibly dying, a whole lot of things. Got involved with my physical therapist and my cardiologist, Dr. Paul Kleist, who I love dearly. You made me cry again. He says, I want you to read this book. What's that, Dr. Kleist? Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. He said to me, exercise is the number one most effective modality of anything on this planet. Drugs, nutrition, everything. It's number one. And I got emotional with him. I said, thank you so much for that. That is so refreshing to hear my cardiologist say that. I said, and Dr. Kleist, I said, I already have the book. But I went back, and because he told me to, I read it, pen in hand. And this is what I'm talking about, good, ladies and gentlemen.
Good, Jim. One
of the things that Peter Attia wants me to do is to be able to do a farmer's carry with my body weight. So a farmer's carry is where you put kettlebell or a dumbbell, one in each hand, and you walk. The goal that Dr. Peter Attia has for me is to carry my weight. I weigh myself every day. This morning was 157. Okay. Do I know the numbers? I can prove it. So I make that 160. So Mark, my physical therapist / trainer, knows the goal. This is a goal within a number of goals. The big goals, but I have a little goal within the goal, which is to carry my body weight, farmer's carry. Did I tell you how much I farmer's carry today?
You did not.
120 pounds.
That's phenomenal.
I had a 60-pound dumbbell in each hand.
Wow.
And I did it for 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Wow.
Which is brutal for those of you that do farmer's carry.
I can imagine.
Here I am, 69 years old. And you can Google this and say, I know this guy, 69 years old, farmer's carries 140 pounds. And they would say, AI would say, outstanding. That's fantastic. And that wasn't all I did. I worked very hard because I have this list that I'm focused on, and I'm on it, okay? And my cardiologists and my doctors all know what I'm doing. They can't believe what I'm doing. So I was laying in that hospital bed, 67 years old, and I was doing my thinking. I'm a thinker, deep thinker. And we always say go deep, right? Laying in the hospital bed, and I thought, geez, my granddaughter, Lila, my oldest granddaughter, is 13 years old. I started thinking 20 years from now, and I have 9 grandchildren, there's probably going to be a great grandchild. And I thought about that. And I thought, I'm 66. That puts me in 86. And I thought, I want to hold that grandchild in my hands. And it made me very emotional. I said, I want to do that. Then I thought further. I thought, well, I'd like to mentor that great grandchild. Obviously, 10 years puts me at 96. 20 years puts me at 106. I need to be a centenarian. And so I started researching centenarians. We just talked about it.
Right.
I started researching the Okinawans. I started researching the Costa Ricans. I started researching Loma Linda, California. And what are they doing? Again, back to the list. Don't focus on the goal. Focus on the list. Get you a list. And you do that via expert counsel. I figure if there's a population in the world where they have the most centenarians per capita of anybody, I think it'd be a good idea for me to talk to them. It sounds like expert counsel, does it not?
Yes.
When I went to Mr. Hamilton, he was expert counsel. He knew how to run a car dealership. He was very successful.
Run a car dealership.
I had no idea. I was bankruptcy imminent.
And you're not sure how to get to 100.
And what did I ask him for?
A list.
And what did he give me?
A list.
And what did I do?
Follow the list.
I followed the list. Did I have a goal? Yeah. I didn't focus on the goal. I focused on the list. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody we read said, tear your goals up. I don't agree with that. I think you should keep the goals, keep them in front of you and all that, but you want to focus on the list. Does that answer whatever question you asked?
Yeah, Jim, thank you. Guys, you can just hear Jim talking about the process that if you went through Rethink You 2.0 or you worked with Jim one-on-one, which we will say there's just a few spots left there. So we're not here to throw you into a sales pitch. We are saying this is really valuable stuff. It's changed our lives. It's changed the lives of many people. We could give you a whole list.
I can prove it.
And this is the process we're taking you through. It's not just some lofty, we're going to take the next 3 weeks and figure out what your goal is.
This is serious business.
Come in with a goal, and we're going to help you walk through the process of achieving.
And can I close out?
Yes.
I was in a restaurant recently with some people, and this good friend of mine who shall go unnamed walks up to me. I said, hey, Nick, how you doing? And he said, I'm doing great. I said, I'm so glad to hear that. How's business? Oh, it's fantastic. I said, what's going on? Why is it so fantastic? He says, you want to know the truth? I said, of course I want to know the truth. He says, the day Jim Shorkey walked into my life, that's the difference. And we both cried.
Wow.
We both cried. I said, you just made my day, brother. And I got up out of my chair and I hugged him. I said, thank you for that. That's what I live for, is that short encounter, 2 minutes. And that makes it all worthwhile.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, guys.
Pleasure.
Leave a comment, dolphin emoji down below. If you want information about the coaching program or Rethink, just leave a comment. Say, send me more info.